tried before and failed. Giant keeps on. You're tuned to NRP Radio. The time is now 6:31 right here, and it is time for us to join the newscast right here on this station. We welcome all of you on the line with us on a morning like this, and we want to say thanks a million for continuing to support us here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. Let's now go for our news. A very pleasant morning to you, and welcome now to our newscast right here on NRP Radio, which is on our radio platform, nrpmediaja.com. Also, Facebook and YouTube at NRP Media JA. It's Tuesday, November 19, 2024. I am Leon Nash with the NRP Break of Day newscast. Here are the headlines. 10-year-old Kenyel Clark, a grade 5 student at Lakova Primary and Basic School in St. Elizabeth, succumbs to injuries sustained in a hit-and-run incident last Friday. 32 students who have been awarded government scholarships in recognition of their exceptional performance in the 2024 Primary Exit Profile PEP. 300 persons enrolled in the National Identification Systems NIDS pilot project begins receiving their cards this week. One man charged with possession of a prohibited weapon. And in sport, England in a good position to win the 2026 World Cup, says its new manager, Thomas Tuchel. The news today is brought to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations whatsoever.
Hi, I'm Genevieve.
And I'm Kalisha. And we are the Christo Praises. You're listening to NRP Media and Radio. Reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations.
Thank you for staying with us. Now the details of the newscast. The Ministry of Education, Skills, Youth and Information is this morning mourning the tragic loss of a 10-year-old Kenyel Clark, a grade 5 student at Lakova Primary and Basic School in St. Elizabeth, who succumbed to injuries he sustained in a hit-and-run accident last Friday. The ministry in a release says it is committed to providing grief counseling and support services to his classmates, teachers, and the affected school community as they cope with this sudden and devastating loss. Senator Dr. Dana Morris Dixon, Minister of Education, Skills, Youth and Information, in expressing her sorrow, urged all road users to slow down, stay vigilant, and respectful of traffic laws, particularly near school zones. According to the minister, this heartbreaking loss must serve as a wake-up call for all to prioritize the safety of the country's children on the road. Senator Morris Dixon says this is also a stark reminder of the importance of safeguarding our children, both within and beyond the classroom. She says that the ministry remains steadfast in its commitment to collaborating with stakeholders to improve road safety measures, including heightened public education campaigns and enhanced infrastructure around schools. 32 students have been awarded government scholarships in recognition of their exceptional performance in the 2024 Primary Exit Profile PEP. 4 students who were the top performers at primary and all-age schools received special awards valued at $180,000 each. The J.G. Smith Scholarship awarded to the top girl went to former St. Catherine Primary School student Davina Richards, who now attends Campion College. As we continue with that information for you, the Marcus Garvey Scholarship for the most outstanding boy went to Antoine Allen, formerly of Spalding Primary School in Clarendon, who attends Manchester High. Kingston College Rodriano Ferguson, who attended Mona Heights Primary School in St. Andrew, received the George William Gordon Scholarship for being the second highest ranked student. The Paul Bogle Scholarship, given to the top ranking student from a primary or all age school in the St. Thomas region, went to Andre McKenzie, formerly of Morant Bay Primary, who now attends Morant Bay High. The other 28 students, 14 girls and 14 boys, received awards valued at $100,000 each. The award ceremony was held recently at the Spanish court. I beg your pardon. The award ceremony was recently held at the Spanish Court Hotel in New Kingston. Acting Chief Education Officer Terry-Ann Thomas Gale, who delivered the keynote address, underscored the Ministry of Education Skills, Youth and Information's ongoing commitment to supporting students' academic progress, ensuring that they have the resources and opportunities to succeed in high school and beyond. Meanwhile, in other news, in a proactive efforts to combat Jamaica's road traffic fatalities, the Commissioner of Police, Dr. Kevin Blake, embarked on a ride-along across the parishes of Kingston, Clarendon, and Manchester only recently. The initiative is spearheaded by the Jamaica National Foundation and the National Helmet Wearing Coalition, coincided with World Day of Remembrance, being recognized under the theme Remember, Support, and Act. Commissioner of Police Dr. Kevin Blake and Mr. Gary McKenzie, Acting Commissioner of Police, Head of the Public Safety and the Traffic Enforcement Branch, P-STEP, and other high-ranking officers took to the streets on Sunday, November 17, on motorcycles, fully equipped with safety gear and helmets to show the importance of wearing helmets. Dr. Blake says that the practical demonstration of commitment to road safety is aimed to inspire motorists and was part of a broader strategy to enhance road safety measures throughout Jamaica. The commissioner shared with some communities in Manchester on his final stop that the JCF continues to save lives through effective sensitization, as too many lives are being lost on our roadways. He said for the festive season, the JCF has adopted the slogan, "Let us arrive alive" in 2025. And back to the Minister of Education now, Dr. Dana Morris. She says that the ministry's school safety policy will be ready by the end of November. The safety policy has been a matter of discussion for some times between successive ministers of education and their counterparts in the National Security Ministry. Addressing stakeholders at the Homo Technical High School on Monday, the minister informed that both the ministry and the national security teams are working to make this policy a reality. All right, we continue with the newscast right here that we're trying to get the clip there from the minister to be played in our newscast. Let's see if we can bring that up at this time.
There's a school safety policy that's been worked on between the Ministry of Education and also the Ministry of National Security. That's been in the works, and I don't like that word, "in the works," because too often in Jamaica things are in the works forever. But we have said that this needs to be completed at the end of the month. UNICEF is assisting the government in finalizing it, and we expect at the end of November that review to be done, because we have to prioritize safety in schools. And our government is going to do whatever we have to do to make it clear to criminals that schools are not fair game. We're not supposed to be seeing these kinds of incidents in our schools.
On Monday, trauma teams visited Homo Technical High School to provide support for the school community following the murder of 47-year-old Ron Gentles, the school's bus driver. The teams held separate meetings dealing with Mr. Gentiles' work, colleagues, witnesses to the crime, close friends, PATH students, staff, and the general student population. And Minister of Education Dr. Dana Morris Dixon is urging the country to continue to stand against crime and criminality, especially that to do with crime on school compounds. The minister made the call while addressing stakeholders at the Homewood High School in Manchester on Monday.
Our schools are really supposed to be places where we're nurturing the next generation of leaders. Maybe the next Minister of Education is here. Maybe the next Prime Minister is in our midst here. That's what we're supposed to be unleashing. We're supposed to be unleashing your potential at school, not mourning senseless murder. That's not what our schools are. And so we are all very saddened, and I have to say the entire cabinet is saddened by what has happened.
That was Minister of Education, Dr. Dana Dixon. 300 persons who were enrolled in the National Identification System NIDS pilot project begun receiving their cards this week. Thereafter, there are other persons who have indicated that they would like to have their national identification cards and will be next. This, according to Chairman of the National Identification Registration Authority, NERA, Bishop the Honorable Conrad Pitkin. Bishop Pitkin says that as of January, the delivery of the cards will open to the public. He advised that there are 24 NIDS enrollment centers across Jamaica and said contracts have been signed for 8 and those will be commissioned first. He advised that the government is in the process of signing another 15 contracts, and before the middle of the year, all the service centers across Jamaica should be ready. Bishop Pitkin said the NERA will be working with the Jamaica Council for Persons with Disabilities to ensure that the disabled community is also served. NIDS provides a reliable and secure way of verifying a person's identity. 32-year-old Dwight Grant Tyler of Whitehall District in Negril, Westmoreland, has been charged with possession of a prohibited weapon following an incident in Good Hope, Negril, in the parish on Sunday, November 17. Police reports are that about 2:40 a.m., a team acting on information went to Grant's home and conducted a search of his premises in his presence when a firearm was found in the bathroom ceiling. Grant was subsequently arrested and charged. His court date is being finalized. Meanwhile, 41-year-old O'Dane Lawrence, otherwise known as Jage, a scaffolder of Glasspool Avenue, Rockford, Kingston 2, has been charged with housebreaking and larceny following an incident in his community on Wednesday, October 16. Police reports are that about 8:09 a.m., Lawrence allegedly went to the back of the premises, pushed his hand through a window, unlatched the door, entered the house, and stole 100,000 Jamaican dollars and 200 United States dollars in cash from a drawer. While Lawrence was inside the house, he was confronted by a household member before making his escape. A report was made and an investigation was launched. Lawrence was later charged based on an eyewitness statement. His court date is being arranged. You're listening to news on NRP Radio, your primary Christian source for news, sports, and the weather on nrpmediaja.com, reaching you where you are. No boundaries, no limitations. We now move on to give you some information that should be sporting information brought to you by J Win Pharmacy. Let's see if we can go over and find J Win Pharmacy over there in Spaldings, and they are the sponsors of our sportscast this morning.
J-Win Pharmacy Limited, Samford Plaza in Spalding, Clarendon, the leading pharmacy in the area that specializes in pharmaceuticals, general over-the-counter items and cosmetics. They stock various self-care items and household items. Contact them at 876-956-0930 or 876-371-6781. Here to provide just what you need.
Thank you for staying with us. It's now time for sports right here on NRP Radio and NRP Media. On football, Lee Carsley says England are in a good position to win the 2026 World Cup under new manager Thomas Tuchel. German Tuchel takes up his new role on January 1 after being handed an 18-month contract by the Football Association. The 51-year-old has been tasked with ending England's long wait for a major trophy, and outgoing interim boss Carsley believes the squad can succeed at the tournament in the United States, Canada, and Mexico. According to him, quote, "I think we are in a good position to do that," he said. "I think we have the talent to do it. We have got all the tools. We just need to play them in the order." Carsley clinched England's promotion to Nations League A with 5 wins from his 6 games in charge after replacing Gareth Southgate. He also gave debut to 8 players during his temporary spell, including Liverpool midfielder Curtis Jones and Southampton centre-back Taylor Harwood-Bellis. The 50-year-old's tenure ended with Sunday's emphatic 5-0 win over the other team. Oh, that should be 50. The Sunday's emphatic 5-0 win. Meanwhile, San Marino, the world's bottom-ranked team, made history as they were promoted to the 3rd tier of the Nations League with the first away win in their history against Liechtenstein. It was also the first time they scored more than once in a competitive game, and the first time they had scored 3 goals in any match. The Minnows' 2 previous victories also came against Liechtenstein, a friendly in 2004, and the Nations League game in September, both 1-0 and both in San Marino. The country, ranked 210th in the FIFA World Rankings, have lost 199 of the 211 fixtures they have contested. They have conceded 10 or more goals in 7 games. Finally, on cricket, Marcus Stoinis hit an unbeaten 61 of 27 balls as Australia thrashed Pakistan by 7 wickets to seal a 3-0 clean sweep in the T20 series. He struck 5 fours and 5 sixes to propel them to a target of 118 with 8.4 overs to spare at the Bellarive Oval in Hobart. Pakistan earlier collapsed from 61 for 1 to 117 all out as Aaron Hardy took 3 for 21, Adam Zampa 2 for 11, and player of the series Spencer Johnson 2 for 24. When Stoinis is going like that, he's really hard to stop, said Captain Josh Inglis, who will join the Australia Test squad for the first of 5 tests against India starting on Friday in Perth. Australia won the first T20 series in Brisbane by 29 runs and the second in Sydney by 13 runs. Meanwhile, Pakistan have appointed former fast bowler Aqib Javed as interim white ball coach. That's sports, brought to you by J-Win Pharmacy. They're over there in Spaldings in Clarendon. Let's listen to them one more time.
J-Win Pharmacy Limited, Samford Plaza in Spalding, Clarendon, the leading pharmacy in the area that specializes in pharmaceuticals, general over-the-counter items and cosmetics. They stock various self-care items and household items. Contact them at 876-956-0930 or 876-371-6781. Here to provide just what you need.
We promise to bring you a good news story as often as we can. If you know of or are aware of any event or person whose good story we should highlight, please send this information to our email address at nationalreligiousmediaja@gmail.com. You can also call or WhatsApp 876-336-9928. That's the local news and sports. Stand by now for the latest international news, courtesy of the VOA, our international partners.
I'm VOA's Richard Green with your Worldwide News Update. Hong Kong's High Court on Tuesday sentenced 45 pro-democracy activists to up to 10 years in jail under subversion charges. Reuters correspondent Saikir Jasny has more on the landmark case that crushed the city's once thriving pro-democracy movement.
The charges were for holding an unofficial vote in 2020 to choose candidates for a legislative election. 47 pro-democracy activists were arrested and charged in 2021 under Beijing's national security law. Prosecutors accused the activists of conspiracy to commit subversion. One of them is former legal scholar Benny Tai. He was labeled an organizer of the arrested activist. 14 Democrats were found guilty in May, including Australian Gordon Ung and activist Owen Chow, while 2 were cleared. The other 31 pleaded guilty and have now been sentenced. Some Western governments have criticized the activists' treatment, with the U.S. calling it politically motivated.
That was Reuters correspondent Saikir Jasny. Benny Tai was sentenced to 10 years, the longest of any of the defendants. China imposed a national security law after massive and often violent pro-democracy protests in 2019. A 9-day march across New Zealand by the indigenous Maori people ended Tuesday in the capital Wellington. Tens of thousands of marchers held a rally in front of Parliament House to protest new legislation that reinterprets the country's founding document, the Treaty of Waitangi. The 1840 Accord, signed between representatives of the British Crown and more than 500 indigenous Maori chiefs, spells out how the two parties agreed to govern. This is VOA News.
Thank you so much for listening there to the latest from the Voice of America. That's Worldwide in 5, right here inside of our NRP Break of Day newscast. Now for the weather report and forecast brought to you courtesy of VW Investments. Of course, they are over there in Christiana and Spaldings.
VW Investments Company Limited, Christiana Main Street, Spaldings, Clarendon. Quick exchange, no hassle, best rates. Call them at 876-964-0604 or 876-964-9370.
Now for today's weather report and forecast on NRP Radio and NRP Media. The National Met Service is reporting that there is a significant feature of a ridge across the northern Caribbean. The projections are for the ridge to persist through to Thursday, followed by a prefrontal trough. As the day progresses on Friday, a cold front is expected to begin affecting the island. In the 24-hour forecast, today, mostly sunny. Tonight, mainly fair. In the 3-day forecast starting tomorrow, that's Wednesday through to Friday, Wednesday and Thursday, though, mostly sunny in the mornings and mainly fair nights. Friday, showers and thunderstorms are expected, mainly across western and central parishes, mostly cloudy elsewhere. Cooler temperatures are also expected. In terms of other current regional weather features, there is a cold front extending from near Lake Charles, Louisiana, to northeast Mexico. The tail end of a stationary front extends southward from the northern Leeward Islands to just north of the ABC Islands. In terms of maximum temperature expected for Kingston and Montego Bay today, for Kingston, 32 degrees Celsius, and for Montego Bay, 31 degrees Celsius. That is the latest weather report and forecast right here on NRP Radio. Continue to listen to us throughout the course of the day when we'll have more for you. This is NRP Radio. With that, we've come to the end of our news presentation this morning. But before we go, here are the headlines once again. 10-year-old Keniel Clark, a grade 5 student at Lacova Primary and Basic School in St. Elizabeth, succumbs to injuries sustained in a hit-and-run incident last Friday. 32 students have been awarded government scholarships in recognition of their exceptional performances in the 2024 Primary Exit Profile PEP. 300 persons enrolled in the National Identification System NIDS pilot project began receiving their cards this week. One man charged with possession of a prohibited weapon, and in sport, England is in a good position to win the 2026 World Cup, says its managers. The full half an hour package of news in this NRP Break of Day newscast came to you courtesy of NRP Radio, reaching you where you are, no boundaries, no limitations. Here is your invitation to join us again tomorrow morning at 6:30 for another edition of our NRP Break of Day newscast. On behalf of the entire news and production teams, I am Leon Nash for NRP News. We encourage you, join this growing medium by subscribing. Yes, we invite you to subscribe to our YouTube channel at NRP Media JA. That's NRP Media JA. Feel fulfilled and informed. Have a good rest of your morning. Reminding you too that if you walk, ride, or drive, make every effort to arrive alive. Have a good one until we meet again in the studios. It is now 2 minutes going up to the hour of 7 o'clock, reminding you that coming up at 7 o'clock on the radio platform, nrpmediaja.com, we'll be having the program Let the Word Speak, and at 7:15, we do a link up, as we do every weekday, with GGFM between 7:15 and 9 o'clock. All right, so those are the upcoming activities right here on radio, and then we continue throughout the course of the day with other features as well. But we want to say thanks once again for those of you who took the time out to participate and to be here on our platforms on YouTube, Facebook, on the radio platform, and also on the World Wide Web. We thank you so much. Have a good rest of the day, and please tune over now to our radio platform as we close out Facebook and YouTube at this time, as we make way for the program at 7 o'clock with Let the Word Speak. That's Reverend Paul Blair. We thank you so much.